Hi, everybody. Welcome to Knitty Knotty episode 28. I am Vanessa, Knitty Witch on Instagram and Knitty-Witch on Ravelry.
And I'm Diane. I'm not Freedom for You anymore. I'm the Knotted Bag on Ravelry and Instagram and Etsy. I'm
Yeah,
not super active on Instagram though.
that's okay.
But
Everyone has their one platform that they love.
yeah,
I
yeah.
love Instagram. I love all the pictures. I can't get enough. I'm like an addict with my phone. Like, what's everyone doing?
Yeah, I mean, I like scrolling through it, but at the same time, I don't use it I think I'd probably need to take a class on how to use it properly in terms of like marketing or whatever. I don't
That's
know.
okay.
I'll like have times when I post regularly and then I'll go weeks without putting anything up. I don't know anything about algorithms and all of that stuff. So
That's okay. I don't know much about the algorithms either. I know
yeah.
that there is an algorithm. I don't know how it works. I just see what I see. I know
Yeah.
that I do follow a bunch of people, and I know that I don't see nearly half of the amount of posts that I should see.
I was just gonna say the same. So I don't know. I have a feeling it might have to do with sorry, I'm just minimizing it might have to do with like when you're liking pictures. So I wonder if like when you're not liking somebody's pictures consistently, then they kind of drop off. I don't know.
Yeah,
No
yeah,
idea.
that happened too.
It's just a thought I've had. Anyway,
Yeah, Instagram hole.
yeah. So I feel like you're gonna have way more to talk about
I
than
don't
I
know.
do.
I don't know. Go ahead. Why don't you show off what you're wearing?
So clearly I need to block this. See, there's like a pucker here. It's this
Yeah.
weird, I don't know what the heck is up with this, but so this is sorry, just give me a second. Why can't I remember the name? By Poison Girls. Did you put show notes last week?
I did.
Okay, just give me a second. Horrible. I wrote it down for you in our chat too, so it'll probably be faster if I just go look at that. So it's Poison Girls, and sorry, this is, you know what? I'm gonna pause this for a second. This is all right. Found it. It's the Honey Bop by Poison Girls, and so my buttons came in. I had not blocked it, and my buttons came in last night, and so I put the buttons on, which is like the least favorite thing to do.
I know.
But
But it looks so pretty. Look at how
yeah,
pretty those buttons are.
I know, I like it. They're very I think it's hard to see, but they're these like cute
Yeah,
sort
you
of
can see.
Swarovski, yeah, buttons, and they match. I find the yarn really well because it's like glittery.
Mm-hmm.
And I added to the pattern an extra, like you do increases here to do this part. You do 4, and I did 6 because I just wanted a little bit more puff. And I did my sleeves without any decrease, and that's it.
That's really
Um,
good.
yeah, I need to block it though because there's a pucker. Yeah, I'm really happy with it. It's warm too. I want to wash it because of the it's not Noro yarn, but you know how Noro is kind of like itchy and rough
Yes.
until you wash it? I'm hoping this is the same because it's a commercial yarn that is a little bit rough, and I mean, it's not merino, it's just wool, it says on the label.
Mm-hmm.
That should have been, I should have thought about that, but I was so attracted to the actual yarn. Anyway, I can't find the label. I've shown it before. I think I showed it last week.
It's
Um,
Reggie, right?
yeah, I think it might be a Regia.
Mm-hmm.
Glittery. Yeah, I really like it. I'm happy. I had some issues with the pattern. Uh, it's not like the simplest pattern, but I got through it.
Yeah, you did.
I think I'll be a while before I knit another cardigan. I don't know. We'll see. It's all of that back and forth. Oh, you know how there's like little pieces of wood in
Yeah.
here? Okay, there was one right on my wrist.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I just found that. Yeah, it wasn't it, doing the button band and the all of the flat knitting,
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather do in the round. So the other thing that I discovered knitting this is the smaller needles. So we've talked so many times about like the 9-inch needles and stuff for socks. Did I talk about this last time? I think I did, because
Uh-huh.
then Cherie actually went and wrote like this huge comment about short needles. So I knitted this with 10-inch needles. And then when I went to my next project, I tried to get 10-inch needles for the sleeves and I couldn't find any
Oh,
locally. And if I order them, they'll take forever. Come, I'll be done. So this is my finished one.
I love it.
I love it too.
Nice.
Very happy with it. It's very sweet, and this is, yeah, I'll be look I don't know how people block their sweaters and cardigans. It's so awkward.
What do you mean?
Well, how do you really shape it when like laying flat?
Well, you lay it flat and you pin it out.
It's such a weird shape to
I don't know.
pin
You
out.
kind of put it where you
Yeah,
want it.
that's really helpful. Thanks.
I don't know. Sorry. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I think the last no, not the last cardigan, but when we went to Rhinebeck all those years ago, and you were finishing up that time that you were finishing up your sweater in the bathroom in the middle of the night,
Yeah.
um, because I was sleeping and you didn't want to bother me. That's why you were doing it in the bathroom.
Yep.
Um, I knitted a cardigan that's actually like a light blue as well, and I I let it dry. I like washed it right before leaving, and it's like an 8-hour drive. So I basically like laid it across the back seat so that
Mm-hmm.
it would dry
Remember that.
along the way. Yeah. Anyway, so that's it for finished stuff because I've only been working on a few things. What are you working on?
What do I have that's finished? I have something finished.
You do? Oh my gosh, that's a massive.
Remember?
Hang on a second. Hang on a second. All right. Pause again.
Sorry about the pause.
That's
So,
okay.
you remember this thing?
Yes. Well, I remember. Yes.
This is from a while back. So, I did this out of it's Bernat Baby Blanket, and it is basically like a king size single crochet blanket.
Wow.
I
With
finally
like
wove in
really,
all the ends.
so that's really big yarn. Is that it?
Yes, it is really big yarn.
Wow. Oh, it's
It's
like a
like this.
chenille.
Yes, it's like chenille. I
Wow.
love it for blankets too. It's so soft. Let me put this out of the way.
Can you wash that? Like, how do you wash that beast?
Throw it in the wash machine, I would imagine. I mean, the yarn is acrylic, even chenille. Look, it's synthetic, so
Right.
it should be fine.
Very
I hope.
cool. That's for your bed?
It's just a couch blanket,
Oh,
so that
okay.
when we sit on the couch, it covers all of us.
That's cool. I have
Yeah.
the best couch too.
So I have that I finished, and then that's all I have that I finished.
Well, that's okay.
So what are you working on?
I have been spinning a little bit, but I can't
Ooh,
show you. But anyway, I started doing this. I have like a multicolor
ooh,
uh,
pretty.
fiber. This is actually from Cherie. Tava? Everybody's in the house. um, and what I've been doing, because I don't want like large color blocks or whatever. I grab different colors and then I pull out pieces. So it's kind of like drafting, but I'm not leaving it in like, I'm not just stretching it out. I actually pull it all out so that you would probably call it like muddied. The colors are muddied, but they don't really muddy. They just, I don't know. I'm just trying to do it that way, just for fun.
Well, it's fun to
Um,
try new things.
so this is the one, I do remember the name of this one. It's called Blanche. Now the pattern says Blanche, and on the Ravelry page it says Blanche 2 TOO. by Susan Crawford, I believe. And so this is DK. I'm getting caught in my, I showed it last week.
Mm-hmm.
So
good.
Finish the neck. And Did
you add poof to the sleeve?
I did. So now that I've knitted this, I kind of know how to do it. I did some research on how to short row a sleeve cap, and I didn't. There's a lot of math. So I just winged it. I just basically like did the same kind of poofs as in this, and then just started my short rows a few stitches later.
That's cool.
And yeah, it seems to work. So that's that. I'm going to do this one straight down. And this is the one that I wanted to get needles to do like a 10-inch
sleeves. Yeah.
But I have to do a magic loop instead, which is fine. It just takes more time because you have to move the needle through. Yeah, I'm happy with it. And I remembered to take notes of what I did here. And I also did, so in this pattern, there's decreases here. And they're done on either side of the middle stitch. Like you can do knit two together and SSK. And I am a big fan of a central double decrease. So
I love center double decreases.
Yeah. I don't know how you do yours, but I like it when you grab two stitches as if to knit, and then you knit the third stitch, and then you pass the two over.
Yeah,
and
that's
you get
how
this
I do mine
real
too.
Yeah. So that's what I decided to do on this one.
Cool.
Yeah. So that's it. That's kind of all I'm working on. And other than that, just thinking about what the next one will be. What am I going to do next? I really need to block this. The sleeve is doing the thing that I hate.
What?
It's not staying at my wrist. Pulls it. You see? When I first tried it, it went down. It does technically go down to my wrist, but then it pulls up, which is annoying.
Is it sad?
Yeah.
Oh.
Veux-tu dire bonjour? Veux-tu dire no?
No, he didn't want to say hi. Well, I'm working on only two things because I'm trying to be monogamous-ish as well. But I set aside my advents because I was doing the daily advent for December.
Yeah.
And I put that aside because I wanted to make a blanket for my daughter for Christmas because we all got COVID over here and we haven't had Christmas yet.
Up in here.
Up in here. Yep, we all got COVID in here. And and so I wanted.
You went into some kind of accent. That was funny.
I know. She hasn't been with me. She's been with her dad while we've been getting better. So I started this blanket, and it's so funny because it's ironically called a virus blanket.
I know. And when you said that to me, I was like, nope.
Yep. So here we are.
Oh, you did. So it's done. Is it done?
No, it's not done. I'm still going.
Oh my gosh.
It's pretty big so far.
So I have a question. At some point, oh yeah, so the rows, not the row, but the color. At some point, the color is probably not going to make it.
No, it doesn't.
It all the way around.
Out. Yeah, now it's starting to not make it all the way around.
Okay.
So it's getting there. I'm at a point where.
Your daughter though would probably fit under that.
Yeah, I don't have that much more to go, and I'm using these Karen cakes. Hold on.
Also, my last name. My maiden name. Yes.
Let me get that one's like.
So how many of those are you using?
So I think this is the fourth one. So this is the last one I have that I'm going to add.
Okay.
And that's what it looks like. It's a big cake. And
we got one of those for my son wanted to knit himself a scarf. So we got one that's gray and turquoise.
Yeah, that's perfect for it because this is how many yards is this? We're at 603 yards.
603 yards, and it's worsted, right?
Yes, worsted.
Yeah, I figured with that he'd have enough to dispose one more.
So so I'm working on that. And then the second thing that I'm working on, and I'm working on this like exclusively now between the two of them, is my sugar coated. Here we go, take two. I swear I never finish anything on this podcast. All I do is start things. But here, I'm the emperor.
I really am having I'm really having deja vu.
So here we go. Here's the hood.
Well done. Good job.
This is called, let me pull up the pattern. This is called Sugar Coated by Anna Maria Otvos. And it looks like this.
Yeah. I like that color.
Yeah. So I'm decided to do it.
Did you end up frogging the other one? I can't remember.
Yes, I did frog the other one. And it's funny, I actually never did frog the other one until I went to get the needle out of it for this one.
Right.
Which kind of worked out against me because my cable, my signature needle cable, is all wonky now from leaving it wrapped up with that pattern.
Oh.
But that's okay. It'll straighten out. But yeah, so I'm knitting this. I'm at the neck, so it's increasing. It's top down. Haven't really had any issues with it. There was an issue where she talks about how to do the hood hood increases, and she starts out by having you do them on the right side or the wrong side. It doesn't matter. On the right side, and then she tells you, okay, so now on the third row, fourth row, fifth row, sixth row, seventh row, I want you to increase. But then that makes you increase on the wrong side. And she didn't write out instructions for decrease or increasing on the wrong side, if that makes sense. So I'm not the only person who has had this issue. I saw other people in their notes have had it also. So to combat that, I just rewrote it and made it so that I was increasing on the right sides only. So instead of...
is it, so for sure though, you're only, so that's like a typo, or does she want you to increase on both sides? Because sometimes you are supposed to increase on the right and wrong side.
She wanted it because it definitely goes, she writes it like, okay, here is your increase row, and then this is row 2. And now I want you to do this increase row on the third row, which is right, and then also on the fourth row, but it's not written for the wrong side. So she goes from you increasing on one side to you increasing on the other side as well, but it wasn't written in how to do it. So I just made it so that I was increasing on right sides only. I made it through
on
the hood.
The other end of the row, or like, how are you? This is why my question, and what I don't understand is, for the pattern to work, are you supposed to be increasing on both ends or just one end?
You're not increasing on the ends. You're increasing in the back. So it comes where you start increasing this way.
Got it. Okay.
Over here.
Okay.
So she wrote it so that the first like increase, you were increasing on the right side, and then you knit, then you purl the wrong side. And then she has you increase again on the right side. And then now she wants you to increase on the row after that, which is on the wrong side.
Right.
Which I don't, that's make one purl. What is that called? That's make one purl right, make one purl left. And I don't know how to do make one purls. I have to Google that one.
Yeah.
So, and it doesn't tell you how to do it in the pattern. So, I mean, that was the only hang up that I had, but I just said, okay, I'm going to do this. And I made it through it, and it's all worked out. So we're good. So everything it's coming along easily, and it's a good pattern. I haven't had any really besides that. That was like a no-brainer. I was like, I don't know why she's doing that. And it took me like, I Brandon looked at me. He's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm just thinking. I'm just sitting here thinking on how I'm going to fix this."
I had the same issue with the sweater. There was a portion that the instructions I couldn't figure out because it was it. I can't. No, I think you start with the top and then you end up like connecting everything. But there was a part where I was stuck. I don't, you know, when you like overthink or you
Mm-hmm.
don't know if you're overthinking it. And then sometimes it's just if they use like a different word that doesn't match other words, then you're like, is this a different thing or is this the same thing? So yeah, it was annoying. And then finally I continued and my stitch count matched. And somebody that I reached out to who had knitted the pattern uh wrote back to me that yes, I was correct. But yeah.
Yeah, that's what I did the first time. I think the lady who wrote the notes on the hood, I think I reached out to her and she explained it to me and was like, the decreases are worked over this many rows and she wants you to do this. So I was like, okay, so she wants you to do this. I'm going to do it just a little differently and still make it at the
Still
same.
have the, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I can't remember if we talked about this last time. I know I talked to you about it directly, but the whole like increasing or decreasing at a certain th row, like the fifth row or the
Yeah.
sixth row, I realized when I was working on my sweater with the two babs, you know, like the pinky red one, that I keep screwing up with that. So you for this, I think it was the sleeves, you had to like decrease every 15th row. And then I was writing down every row because I was alternating to every sixth row or whatever. Yeah, every sixth row was a stripe. So to keep track of that and also keep track of because the colors are so similar, I had to like make sure I noted it down. And I had to increase at every 15th, decrease at every 15th row. And so I was writing down, I was ticking off 15. But what I was doing is instead of going to 15 and increasing and then starting back at 1, I made the 15th one the first one of the next 15.
Oh, goodness. So you
You
were,
see what I mean?
yeah, I see what you're doing.
So I was increasing on the 15th, right? Like the first one I did, you know, so you increase and then you're counting and then I would get to 15 and I would start like a new. So I was basically doing 1 to 14.
Yeah.
So my
Wonderful.
first 15th became number 1 of the next, and then I would go again to 14 and then go 15. So I think I was really decreasing every 14th row, which is not a big deal, but it made me realize like, do I do this all the time?
You know
And
what really helped me is Knit Companion. So I know that like a few people talk about how they like Knit Companion, but here, so this is the sugar coated. Do you see how many row counters there are on the side?
oh wow.
Yeah. So when they have like increase or decrease here, also do this here and this there, there's enough row counters on that for you to do all of it. And it
That's a
lets
cool
you
app.
like pick, there's different colors and you can like name them. If you, I think, I don't know if you can name them on that phone, but I know on the iPad you can actually pull them out and you can actually write different names on them.
Oh
And
cool.
that helps me stay.
I have an app that's more basic than that. It is called Easy Knitty Counter.
Hmm,
Easy Knitty.
easy knitty
That
counter.
would be you. um it's really, it's just that. And so you can like start a new one, you can name it. I had one called Sleeves. What was that for? Anyway, I can't remember which project, but I have two on there that just for basic counting.
Whatever works.
Yeah, but I think it was when I was working on that I realized, oh, I was working on the sides of the sweater. So I'm gonna have to block this too. I've put on a few COVID pounds, I think. And so this sweater is kind of tight around my torso. I usually don't do any shaping in the bodies of my sweaters because when I'm sitting down, like my fat and stuff, like I'm basically the same size around, I think, as my boobs. Like I don't need to, you know what I mean? Like I've never found that I need it to be like perfectly shaped. And this one has shaping in the body. So what I did is I started off with the stitch count that they say, but I didn't do the decreasing because it decreases and then it goes back out for the
Okay.
boobs. So I didn't do any decreasing. I just did the increasing for the boobs, but I'm kind of wishing I had cast on that larger number in the first place. But I think once I block it, it'll be fine because that other one I was just talking about with the stripes, it was kind of snug and then I blocked it and it opened up really well. Yeah.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah.
Do you have any acquisitions?
Nope.
Okay.
Well, other than these buttons.
Other than your buttons. I have a couple things I picked up.
Okay.
I picked up
Wait, can I ask you something? Were you not working on another blanket or is that the one you finished?
No, I'm not working on another blanket. My scrappy blankets.
Okay, but I thought you had another one, but I must have. Okay.
Mm-mm.
Okay, cool.
No. So besides like buying like 15 more makeup palettes, 4 lipsticks, 2 blushes, and like another eyeshadow palette, I will be making another blanket with this. So this is Lion Brand Mandala.
Nice.
And it is so much soft. So, okay, my complaint with the Caron with this is it's not soft. It's like crunchy.
Right.
Like that stiff. Like you can literally, like, if you look at the fiber, let me see if I pull this up. You can like see the fuzziness of it.
Yeah.
But this is actually like really soft. So and this is a sport weight. I'm trying to double check that before I eat my words here. Yeah, so this is a sport weight. So it's going to take me a little bit to work up a whole blanket, but my friend is doing one in a different colorway, but in this yarn, and it is absolutely gorgeous. And I can't wait to start this one when I'm done with that one.
And that's Knit Picks?
No, this is Lion Brand.
Oh, Lion Brand.
Yeah.
And then what, I have not seen that locally at Michael's.
I haven't either. It's sold out everywhere. I had to order it from the website.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then, so what are you knitting or crocheting again?
Crocheting it. I'm going to do another virus blanket.
Okay. So the same square.
Right. So then I went to the yarn store and I got some stuff. So we were talking about how we wanted to do 2 toe up socks at a time. So I was in the yarn store and they had this yarn that's already separated into 2 separate cakes.
Yeah.
So that we can do that.
Yeah.
So when we're ready, whenever that is, that's what I'm going to use for that.
Yeah.
My new favorite thing.
I think I have, sorry, I'm pretty sure that I have a couple of sets from Knit Picks from years and years and years ago. So I think that's what I'm gonna use. Yeah.
Yeah. So my next favorite thing that I got over Christmas vacation is called a beam and read.
The heck?
It's a beam and read.
Okay. So, oh, you can be in the dark.
It's a light.
Yeah, I see that.
Around your neck for your knitting.
So that you can knit in the dark?
Yes.
Oh.
Or if you just need to see your stitches, so it turns off when you do that, and then when you flip it up.
It's Very cool. That's really cool.
Yeah, so this thing is just for like, we have in our living room, we didn't have a light for our living room specifically. We just had like the overhead lights that were in the kitchen, because the kitchen in the living room is like all the same. So it just wasn't bright enough because we sit with our backs towards the light.
Yeah.
So this at in the dark, it was just it's like my new favorite thing. It's such a simple thing, because I was using the headlamp,
Oh,
and I love my headlamp. So
right.
I'm not even gonna lie, I love the headlamp. But after a while, no matter how loose you make it, it still
Yeah.
starts to hurt right here.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this little around the neck beam and read thing.
Well, the other thing is too, I would assume that you have to be more like looking down for the headlamp, whereas this is down here already. Like
Well,
just
the
the angle
headlamp
of the light is going to be better, I think.
Yeah, the headlamp is actually funny because it goes where you look. So it's perfect. No matter what you do, it's always perfect. But
But I guess I was thinking if you're watching TV while you're crafting,
oh no,
right?
yeah,
And
every
then
time.
you're like, yeah. So whereas with this thing, it'll be really pointed to your lap and you can look up and it's not constantly moving the light, which I would assume would really be annoying for whoever's watching TV with you.
No, actually, that's a good call, because that actually does happen. And
Right.
it's really annoying because I kept looking up at the TV, and then the beam would beam off the TV. So yeah, that's also a good point. And
Yeah.
I like with this, like you can point it like a little bit, or you can point it straight up in front of you.
Right.
So beam and read.
Very cool. Did you get that online?
I got it at my local yarn store.
Oh, very
So I
cool.
do think they have them on Amazon, but they were actually more expensive.
Well, and it says on it readinglight.com, so I'm sure if somebody wanted it, they could look it up.
Look at you. I didn't even notice that.
Yep.
Readinglight.com. Yeah, so that was pretty cool. I talked about that needle set that I wanted to try.
Yes.
I got it. So
Okay. Cool.
so I looked it up, and the reviews were terrible.
So tell me
Yeah,
again what was the brand because I can't remember.
so this is Knitter's Pride,
Mm-hmm.
and it's the Mindful collection.
Okay.
And apparently they had a recall on it because of the cables. The joins were not flush and they were breaking and coming apart. So they recalled them all and put them out again, and supposedly have fixed that. And I was assured that if anything were to happen, I can bring them back.
Okay, these are interchangeables.
These are interchangeables, and each one of the needles say something. So that one says like exhale, dream. I think that says create. I don't know.
Yeah.
They all say something different. It's
Oh,
a
cool.
beautiful case. It has them labeled. This little notions pouch slides in there. I was actually like pleasantly surprised because it comes with like all of this stuff. It comes with cables, and it comes
I
with
sure hope it comes with cables.
right. But what I was gonna say is they have fixed and swivel. So the fixed ones are like normal, like knit picks, kind of like just fixed. And then the swivel ones are like signatures, where this swivels. So when you're knitting, it turns to where
Oh.
you are.
Oh, okay.
So it came with the cables, it came with a little needle thing, it came with this little pouch. This is
What
adorable.
size cables do you have? Like, do you have a 9 or 10-inch in there, or does it start at 16,
It starts at 24 and 32.
24? Okay.
Got these cute little end caps
Wow.
to take off the needle. Yeah, like to stick when you are taking them off. It's got a cable connector so that you can put the cables together and make a longer cable.
Oh, that's really cool.
It has darning needles, stitch markers, locking markers,
Wow.
regular size markers, tiny size markers.
All the markers.
The crochet locking markers. Yeah, all the markers. So, I mean, it retailed at, it was $109, I believe. It comes with sizes 2.5, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, I believe. 2.5, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep.
Cool.
Yeah. So I have not had a problem with them yet. They are slick. They're very light. They glide really well, and I'm actually pretty impressed with them. So I'm pretty happy about that, and came in a pretty case.
So tell me for you what the, other than like it's pretty and it's got a good case and stuff, what is it for you that you like about interchangeables? Because I had a set years and years and years ago. I think it was Knit Picks, and I found it was a pain in the arse to like, they always undid.
Do you have the wooden ones or the metal ones?
Metal ones.
I've never had a problem with mine undoing.
Yeah, and mine were constantly like, as I would knit, they would, or the yarn would get caught in the little, like the crack between the, or they just, and I had a little thing that you used to tighten it and everything, and I don't know, it was not
That's
fun.
really surprising, because Knit Picks is my Knit Picks set I've had since I started knitting. So I would say maybe not when I first started, but like maybe a year later. So like, let's say like 2010, we're in 2020 going to 21. Still my favorite set of interchangeables. I've never had a
Interesting.
problem with them gripping. I've never had a problem with them unscrewing. I know a lot of people have issues with the wooden ones because the join, I mean, you have to put the wood into the metal, so there's going to be a join, and there's like nothing you
Yeah.
can do about that.
Right.
And I know that those were breaking, and those were coming unscrewed, and those were having issues with them.
Yeah.
But I've never had a problem with the metal one.
I remember mine would get stuck, like when you're, when you're just moving your
Yeah.
stitches along, they would always get caught, and I'm like, I don't.
Yeah, you can't be having that.
No.
But like, even
Because needles are so important.
they are.
Like having a needle can make or break
Your
the
experience.
enjoyment. Yeah, absolutely. I've found that. I've discovered that, I think, in the last year or two, where I'm not enjoying a project, and then I switch needles and it's so much easier. And it's weird. It just seems to depend on the yarn, and
It really does.
it's very bizarre.
Because I was knitting now, like, all right, I know everyone's on either one side or the other. You either hate signatures or you love them. But I have signatures. And I remember the first time I bought signatures, I bought a few sizes. I sold them all. I destashed them because the aluminum isn't slick enough for me. Like, it just wasn't slick enough for me at that time. Well, I was a very tight knitter, so that wasn't working. As I got, more experience, my knitting loosened, and now I have signatures. But I was having problems with the sugar coated, with the yarn really like sticking to the needle, and it was really driving me nuts. So I pulled out that one and I replaced it with this one, and now it's just gliding and it's super smooth. So
Right.
I think it just depends on like the wool, like what you're knitting with, because we know that signatures are good needles. It's just really the needle
And
with
see,
the right yarn.
I would say I don't love or hate. I have two signature needles, and one of them I was using, I think, in this project, because of the length of the cord, like,
Mm-hmm.
but the stiletto, for me, the tip is too long.
Oh, I love them, and that's why I like them, because of the stiletto, the 5 inch.
Yeah.
I get the 5 inch with the stiletto tips.
Yeah.
I love them.
Yeah. For me, it's almost too long. I would say my favorite needles are Chia Goose and Hayas.
Yeah, those are good needles too.
And I like Addie's as well.
Well, Signature, fun fact about them, they're also not fixed anymore. All Signatures are interchangeable now.
Well, remember back like in the day when everybody was like sending them back in because they would break? I had one break too. So maybe they were like, we should just make them all interchangeable.
Well, it's actually funny. I didn't want them to be interchangeable because nothing against the company, but they're just a little expensive. And if that's, if that's not a problem for you, that's not a problem for you. But each one of the cords to interchange out is $20. So like, and they're not interchangeable. So like, if you want a size 7 needle and you want to change the cable between a 24 and like a 32, right? You have to buy size 7, 32 inches.
Oh, you mean the cords aren't interchangeable from one size to the other of the needle?
No.
So like, how's the cord not interchangeable for an interchangeable? Okay, the cords are different sizes.
Size 7 cords.
No,
with
that's
size 8 needle.
That's craziness.
And it's $20 each one, so it gets a little pricey.
No,
but
that's crazy.
I didn't want them to be interchangeable, so I took plumber's tape and I wrapped it around the threading and I stuck them together so that the cable doesn't come off.
But then the tape doesn't interfere with your knitting?
No, the tape is on the inside where you thread it. Like it's plumber's tape, so it like grips on. So I made it so that they can't really come apart. They will come apart if you try hard enough.
Yeah.
But they're not going anywhere. Because I didn't want them to be interchangeable.
Yeah.
So that's the story on my Signatures.
Let me ask you something. I want your opinion.
Yeah.
Because, oh, it was a piece of fiber. Sorry, my face is like,
Oh, you're fine.
So I have this shawl. I think this is called Bambara, if I remember correctly, that I started working on ages ago, like years.
Wow.
It takes 4 skeins of yarn. It's kind of like you can do like kind of a gradient, but you start with the sort of darkest, and then I should show you the right side of it. It's prettier. And then you have like a contrast color, so that's my yellow. And then my middle is this orange. And then the other end is going to be this.
Mm-hmm.
But I have not worked on this thing in a really long time.
That's it. Frog it.
I don't really wear shawls. Frog and I'm like, but I love this combination of colors. And I'm thinking like, do you think I can make a fade sweater with these colors? Like, would that, not sure how to.
It depends on how many colors you need for the fade, but I don't see why not.
Trying to figure out how I can make a sweater with this. Because this is not the kind of colors that I usually have in a sweater. So I think
I know that if anyone could figure it out, it's you.
Well, I love how much faith you have in me. But I just find like the fades usually are better with the speckled, right? Because then they kind of really graduate. Whereas this, I've got these blocks of, just yellow and sort of white and then orangey. Mm-hmm. So maybe I would have to have this go into the yellow. I don't know. Then the orange, but then like the orange and the yellow are going to be very.
I don't know. I'm no help.
Because I think that the So Faded sweater is you knit like a certain amount of rows and then you alternate and then you're into the next skein. Whereas that sweater that I knitted, the poof sweater, where you held 2 strands at the same time, you alternate as well, but because you're holding 2 strands, the blending is more subtle. But I don't really want to knit the double-stranded one again. Anyway. Yeah. I need more ideas, more pattern ideas for things like this where you've got different skeins, like different colors, and how to put them together for like singles. Because when my early days of buying yarn, I bought a lot
I
of
bought
single
single
skeins.
skeins, right? Me too.
Yeah. And now we're like, what the heck do I do with this? So I don't know. Like I kind of want to frog it, but I kind of want to figure out what I'm gonna make with it first before I frog it.
Yeah. I just picked up like an earring in my knitting bag. This obviously belongs to my daughter. Because I was gonna show you,
Cute.
remember we were talking about that Coco knits wrist thing. Did I ever show you?
No, I don't. You might have, but I don't remember.
Okay, so this is pretty exciting. So this is Coco Knits, and she makes these wristbands, right?
Yeah.
And they hold your notions. It's magnetic.
So cool.
So I got the Coco Knits roll,
Oh,
the
you showed me
accessory
that.
roll.
Yeah, you showed me that.
Yeah, so I picked this up, and this is pretty cool. So these actually come out. I didn't know that. These come out, and you can put all your notions in here. So if I were to open this, I would have like a gajillion stitch markers fall out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so but you can like take see,
That's really cool.
my new favorite. It's my new favorite. So yeah, that's the Coco Knits accessory roll that I picked up. So I'm actually liking it because now when I am knitting a sweater, because I usually keep all of my notions behind me on a table.
Right.
Like I have a table behind my couch.
Yeah.
And then when I grab my knitting bag and I go mobile, I'm missing things like my darning needle.
Right.
And row counters and like stuff like what do you call them, like stitch holders to put
Yeah.
like stuff like that, so I can just throw that in my bag. So that's pretty cool.
I recently bought more stitch holders, but just like the clover stuff, because I didn't have enough. I had one break once. These are the ones that I like to use.
Are those stitch holders?
Yeah.
Oh,
They're my favorite kind. You just pop this out.
I've never seen those.
So you put your
I've only
stitches.
seen the ones that are like long.
The really cool thing too is you can use this as if you want to, like a cable needle. I mean,
Oh, that is cool.
it's not bended like cable needles, but yeah, they have different sizes. This is shorter than the orange one, and it's also like the smaller in width.
That's
But
pretty cool.
yeah, I really like these. I had to use them for like this and the
Yeah, I
pink
have to
one.
use them for mine too, so I'm gonna have to get some of
One
those.
of these snapped on me once though, which is why I had to buy more, but I like them a lot. Yeah.
I got one more thing that's pretty cool. I'm gonna show
This
you.
is, sorry, just to show you the package. It's clover.
Okay.
And they come 2 in a bag, I think.
I'm gonna have
Yeah.
to get some or Amazon some to me.
Get
All right.
Amazon to send it to you.
Yeah. Look,
Oh, I saw that on Instagram.
The Power of Knitting. It's by Loretta Napoleoni, and she is so I was watching Christy Glass Knits, and she did a whole interview with the author. So for anyone who's interested in that, like look up Christy's channel and check out that interview because it
What
was
is the
really
book
good
about?
interview. It's a book on, so it says on the back, whether we're facing anxiety, loneliness, or uncertain times, knitting is a powerful tool for survival and a metaphor for life. Join economist and lifelong knitter Loretta Napoleoni on a voyage through history, following the yarn of social, economic, and political changes and a personal journey of discovery as well, purling and stitching every step of the way in this remarkable exploration of the power of knitting.
Cool.
So it's like her journey. And,
Right.
I love reading books with knitting. Like, what was that one? The Friday Night Knitting Club.
Yeah.
That was such a good book. And then they had the sequel, and
Yeah.
I love the Yarn Harlots books because I like reading stories about people who knit, not just like, this is how you do this many stitches and this is
Yeah.
how you make this stitch. So I'm pretty excited to read it. And it has, I guess, a story about her and her grandmother in it as well. So
That's cute. That's not,
yeah.
sorry, cute's not the right word. That's sweet.
No, it is sweet. So I'm excited to read that.
Um, I remember when I was reading those two, like Friday Night Knitting Club, and there was a book at the time, but of course I'm not going to remember the name. This was like years ago. I remember reading a book about like there was magic too. Like,
Oh,
so the lady who owned the knitting shop was, I don't know, there was like magical characters in the
that's
story too.
awesome.
I'll see if I can like track it down.
Yeah, because now I want to read it.
It was really good. I liked it. It was, just I just love how like in those stories, the women who own the yarn shops, they knit really fast.
Yeah.
They always like produce knitting like
Look at this sweater I made yesterday.
yeah, exactly. Not too realistic, but anyway, especially since you're running the shop, you don't have time to
Yeah.
be like knitting all day long. But anyway,
No,
um,
they're fun books. They're fun.
yeah,
What was I
well,
gonna
that's
say?
good. So let us know how that goes. Oh, and then also you signed up for, speaking of
Oh
Christy
yeah, I
Glass, you
signed
signed up
up
for her thing.
for the Knit and Escape PJ party. Cookies and PJs. It's on January 9th at 7 o'clock Eastern time. And it's Christy Glass, and there's a couple other sponsors. I know Chelsea Yarns is one of the sponsors. And there's going to be a couple other people there, and it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
So
And
I'm
so what do
excited.
you do? Is it just like a sort of
There's going to be
virtual knit
games.
night kind of thing?
Yeah, it's like a virtual knit night. There's going to be games. There's going to be giveaways. So it looks like it's something that's just going to be fun. And I thought, I don't know if I'm missing out on the information or if there aren't any, but I thought that with COVID, there would be more knit night groups out. And I haven't really
You mean virtually?
virtually,
Yeah.
yeah, virtual knit night groups. And I haven't really seen too many.
Mm,
Maybe I'm just not hearing about them. But I know my yarn store does one, so I do one with my yarn store. But I thought
right.
maybe like Instagram would have more. I don't know.
Hmm.
Maybe we need to just make our own knit night.
Well, maybe you should do a post on Instagram and ask people if they know of any.
Yeah, because I'd like to pop in on some.
Yeah.
So I love knitting. So and I knit all the time. So it would
Yeah.
be nice to have people to talk to while I'm knitting.
Yeah. I've never been a big fan of like the knit nights, but because I'd rather be at home on my couch.
I love them. I love the social aspect of it. So
Yeah.
I miss it when we used to all get together and we used to talk online, and it was fun. And
Oh yeah, that was fun when we
yeah,
had our little chat.
yeah.
Um,
So
yeah, I'm sad, still sad that we have no Maryland this year, but
I know. But you know what? We're getting there.
yeah,
We're getting there.
hopefully Rhinebeck in the fall.
Hopefully. Yeah, I know. And I was looking because Christy Glass they're doing Knit and Escape has a retreat as well. And that's almost sold out, but they're doing that in November, I think it is. And it's in New York, the Catskills. And I really hope for their sake.
Memories.
I know.
Memories
I
of the
really
cats.
hope for their sake that nothing happens and it
Yeah.
doesn't get canceled.
No, I was just thinking about when we stayed in the Catskills when we went to Rhinebeck, and
Yeah,
it
that was
and
fun.
I got lost. I had
You,
printed. I didn't
I got
technically.
lost too.
No, I didn't get lost, but I had printed off the directions to get there, and the GPS on my phone, I can't remember if I had roaming or not, but anyway, now it's a lot better. Like, and this wasn't that long ago, but I think there's just no GPS in the Catskills.
No.
And we were like up in there. It was dark. I stopped at a house because I was completely lost, and I
Oh,
wasn't actually lost. I was going the right way, but I was like second guessing myself because I was in the dark, and now I only have like, thank God I had printed off the map stuff, the MapQuest stuff.
yeah. No,
Because
because I
I,
remember from the minute I left that parking lot in Rhinebeck, the minute that you and I split up, I was lost. Because
oh, but that's from
yeah,
Rhinebeck.
that was from Rhinebeck.
I'm talking about getting to the motel in the Catskills.
Yeah, no,
That
I
you,
am
and then you overdrove, right? Like I didn't realize, but you had to drive like
up
further
and down.
north and then back down to Rhinebeck the day after. But yeah, I knew you were lost because you went a certain way, and I was like, oh, I don't think that's the right way. And
Yeah.
then the whole like the tolls are confusing
Yes.
because if you don't understand, if you're not used to them, I drove through one not knowing I was supposed to take a ticket, and then I
That's
got to
okay.
the
You live
next
in
one, and I was
Canada.
like,
You live in Canada. They're never gonna find you.
oh, they'll find you. Anyway,
All right.
so I guess that's it.
Yeah, that's all. So here's the thing. Everyone, and for anyone that doesn't want to stand by and listen to a bunch of randomness, feel free to go, and we love you and we'll see you back next time. But if you want a bunch of randomness, everyone is talking about what they're watching on TV, what they're reading, what they're into. So I was curious, do you read? And if you do, like, what are you into right now?
No. I used to be an avid reader, and then I switched to Audible.
Mm-hmm.
But
I
now that I'm
can.
not driving places, I tend to, because I used to listen to it more in the car. I don't tend to listen to it at home.
Okay.
And because I'd rather be knitting, it's hard to read a book and knit at the same time, right?
Okay. So I'm the same.
So I tend to go for like the chick lit thriller kind of like Gone Girl. Like I've rewatched Gone Girl recently on Netflix because I really like that movie. So those kinds of stories, and those are the types that I usually get on Audible as well, or I'll get like um spiritual motivational stuff like Napoleon Hill and Jen, I can't remember her name, the badass books, like
Yeah.
I and or Wayne Dyer, and then sometimes I listen to those when I'm going to sleep. Uh, but I haven't, yeah, I haven't. I like books, but then I don't actually read them.
I keep buying books because Barnes and Noble is my favorite place.
Right.
And I can't stop buying books that I put on my shelf and not read, because then when I want to go read another book, I get excited because I'm like, I want to go to Barnes and Noble, so I want to look for a new book. So I go, I look for a new book and I buy it, and then
Right.
I come home and I don't read it, and I do the same thing. But so I decided that since I want to knit, that I would sign up for Audible again. So I signed up for Audible again, and I'm listening to the Da Vinci Code
Oh yeah.
because I read Angels and Demons a long time ago and it was really good. So I decided the Da Vinci Code, the movie, was really good, and I like the author, so that's what I'm listening to right now.
Yeah.
As
I
far
used to I go to I love going to a bookstore. Like I love going to Chapters and walking around with a coffee. My friend and I often, not often, but sometimes that's our thing, right? We go and we chit chat while we look through the books. I like looking at recipe books and just like all of the knickknacks and stuff. But when I see a book that really uh is interesting to me, I look it up on Audible and I put it in my wish list, and then I get that
That's
that
what I'm going
way.
to start doing from now on,
Yeah.
is doing it. It's just going through Audible because my hands are busy most of the time. So I've newly discovered Audible.
Cool.
Yeah. So
I am out of things to watch.
I am so tired of television. We watch too many things. Like, we're watching, like, here's some shows that we're watching because it's all of them. we're watching CSI, The Blind Spot, How I Met Your Mother, The Office, um, what else? South Park we were watching yesterday. Like, just it's like we don't try or strive to finish anything. We just put on
Right.
something to be entertained at that
This
moment.
seems to be a pattern. The knitting, the
I know,
books,
right? My knitting, I just
the TV
start
watching.
something and then not finish it. Yeah, and then rip it out and then start something else and not finish it and rip it out.
I rewatched the entire series of Homeland because I freaking love that show. So, and the first 7 seasons are on Netflix, and then for the 8th, I went online and streamed it.
See, I'm rewatching
Love it.
Supernatural.
I I loved it,
Those are my
and
boys.
then in the last several seasons, I was like, this is becoming I'm having a hard time tracking what's going on.
That's why I started over because
Oh,
I was
okay.
having a hard time tracking. It had been I've been watching
It's so it becomes
Supernatural,
convoluted and kind of ridiculous after a
well,
while.
since 2005, I think, is when it came out. Like, I've been watching it since the beginning, and then you kind of forget everything, and
Yeah.
then I didn't watch it for a while, and then I tried to watch it again, and I don't remember anything, so I was like, "Forget it, I'll just start it over." It's my
Yeah.
favorite show. I love those guys.
I also I've watched many, many, many times the entire series of Alias. That is like my all-time favorite show.
I've never watched Alias.
Oh my God, it's so good. Jennifer Garner is like my favorite, and she's so badass in the
That's
show.
awesome.
And then there's what's his name? Uh oh,
Bradley Cooper.
Bradley Cooper. He's in that show too when he was
Oh,
younger. It's a really, really good show. I love it.
that's
I was
awesome.
sad when it ended.
I'm sorry.
But also that's also like when you're rewatching it and you remember like, you know, the when was this part? You remember the story because I've watched it so many times, but
It's funny because we're watching. So, How I Met Your Mother is like one of the funniest shows I've ever seen. It's just like a funny
disagree.
joke. I
Sorry.
love it. I think
Yeah,
it's
I know.
hilarious.
No, you love
But
it.
I've never watched the last 2 episodes of the season, like how it ends, the whole thing, how the
Right.
end. So Brandon, I don't want it to end because I feel like it'll be over and I don't want it to be over. So Brandon restarted the whole thing in hopes that if he just restarted it and we rewatched it to the end, that I'll finally watch the end.
Right.
So that's his reasoning. So he keeps like sneaking it on.
It's funny. I think I watched that show like once or twice. One time I had oh my God, I did. I went for not an ultrasound, but like yeah, an ultrasound for my knee, but it was in those things where they
All right.
yeah, an MRI, that's it, an MRI. No, I knew it was an ultrasound. So I went for an MRI and then they had this thing where they can like you can watch the show and they
Oh.
listen to it and there wasn't like a lot of options. So I thought, oh, put How I Met Your Mother. And I was like, oh my God, turn this thing off.
Oh my goodness, I love it. I
I
love
thought it
it
was
so much.
horrible.
It's so stupid. It's so
It just
funny.
seemed so contrived and like canned laughter. I cannot stand canned laughter. It's
It's so
not,
funny how everyone likes different things. Because
yeah.
I think the show is brilliant. I love it.
Me, yeah,
Everything
but
about it.
honestly, if it weren't for the canned laughter, I might have been able to like watch it more. But I can't stand like every 2 seconds there's laughter. It's not even funny what the guy just said, and you're still putting in the canned laughter. It's not natural,
See, I
and
don't even pay attention to it. It
I
doesn't even
can't.
like faze me.
Yeah, I
That's
know.
funny.
I'm getting angry just thinking
That's
about
funny.
it.
All right. Well, with that, let's not make you angry.
Yeah, I'm so evil and violent. Um,
All
anyway.
right.
So yeah, I'm just trying like I've watched so many things. It's been a long 9 months.
It has been, and we're still.
Yeah. Let's not talk about that either.
No. Well, until next
Yeah.
time.
Yes.
Yay.
We'll stop on a happy note.
Stop on a happy note
Knitting. I
before
need
we
to
forget
figure out what to
anything
do with
else.
this. Yeah, I need to figure this out because I could finish this, but honestly, I'm not gonna wear it.
Well,
I'd
then
rather
take
have
it apart if you're
I'd
not
rather
gonna
have a pretty sweater. I'll just like
wear it.
pin it around me. No, I'll figure it out.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for watching. And if you like us, subscribe, share the news, let people know that we're around. And we will see you next time.
What's not to like?
I know, right? All right. I'll see
Bye.
you soon. Bye.